This video is for anyone who loves crystals, but you're struggling to feel crystal energy. When you hold a crystal, you don't really get anything from it, and you're wondering whether there's something wrong with you, whether you just don't have a natural ability to connect with crystals. So in this video, I'm going to share 7 things that I think could be blocking your ability to feel crystal energy and tips to help you really deepen that connection. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm Charlotte. I'm a crystal healing therapist, and I'm dedicated to helping you harness the power of the mineral kingdom so that you can awaken your own potential for healing, for love, and for transformation. When I first started out my crystal healing journey, I honestly couldn't feel energy from any crystals. And I really thought that meant there was something wrong with me. I just wasn't an energy person. Maybe I wasn't really cut out to work with crystals. And I remember this one time, my teacher Kelly, in one of our first ever classes, she asked us to line up at a table where she'd placed loads of hematite crystals. And she asked us to just pick out a crystal that we were sort of attracted to. And I was really nervous about that. I didn't feel like I had any way of detecting a connection to any particular crystal. I thought everybody else was going to be feeling this electricity or like coolness or heat or something coming out of the crystals, and they'd know which one was right for them, and I wouldn't. But actually what happened was I just ended up being more drawn to one than the others. And it was this one, this beautiful hematite crystal. It's absolutely one of the most important to me because of that experience of just having to go with my intuition. And in this video, I'm going to share with you 7 reasons it might be the case that you're not able to feel crystal energy in the way that you want. And I'm going to also share 7 tips to help you really strengthen that connection and heighten your sensitivity when you're working with stones. So the first reason that you might not be feeling crystal energy is actually because you're not really supposed to feel it in the way that you think you should. When I think of this phrase, feeling crystal energy, it sort of implies that you should almost hold a crystal and like hover your hand over it and be able to feel something sort of radiating out of the stone. And that's what I used to think feeling crystal energy meant. But actually, it's not necessarily that. We all have different ways of becoming sensitive and tuning into the energy of crystals. And people have different kinds of extrasensory abilities. You know, clairaudience is all about hearing things. Clairvoyance is about the sort of clear vision, and clairsentience is a kind of knowing. So people are naturally going to work with energy in different ways. So we shouldn't really have any one expectation about what it's supposed to be like. And to me, feeling crystal energy could be anything from kind of tuning into the physical sensations of a crystal, having an emotional response to a crystal, having images or ideas or thoughts or memories come up in your mind when you hold a crystal. So as I say, it's not necessarily that you're going to feel energy like radiating out of a crystal, and if you don't feel that, you're not connecting with it. It's much more likely, in my view, that you'll notice changes within your own body, your own energy field, as a result of coming into contact with a crystal. So rather than thinking, do I feel energy from this crystal, you tune into, do I feel different after I've had this crystal in my hand for a few moments or 10 minutes or whatever? Does my energy feel brighter or more grounded? Do I notice any tingling sensations or other physical sensations in my body? Have thoughts come up? Have I felt an emotion stirring within me? as a result of holding this crystal. And those things are all sort of signs that you are connecting with crystal energy without having to necessarily feel it sort of like, bursting out of the crystal itself. The second reason why you might be blocked from feeling crystal energy is you're just trying too hard. Um, we can have very high expectations, can't we, about what we should be experiencing in any modality. And it's not always going to be a spectacular, very obvious kind of connection that you're making. This is quite subtle work. Crystal healing is very gentle and very powerful because of its gentleness. So, when you're focused on the outcomes of anything in life, it makes it much more difficult actually to really be present in the moment and to enjoy and be connected with the process itself. So, I would invite you to um, let go of thinking that when you hold a crystal or are near a crystal, that you should be experiencing any one thing in particular. And that way, you'll be much more open, you'll be more receptive to the subtle signals that you're feeling within yourself and the way that you're relating to the stone that you have in your hand. So, the tip that I would recommend if this is something you're experiencing is just let go of your expectations and know that whatever you experience with your crystal at that time is absolutely perfect. That's one thing I absolutely love about crystals, and I feel so safe with crystal healing because I do believe that you receive what you are meant to receive from any crystal in any moment. You won't receive more than you can handle. And so you can really feel confident that whatever you're experiencing is right for you in that moment. And once you let go, you're going to be able to feel crystals much, much more easily. The third reason why you might not be feeling crystal energy is that you're just not focused and centered when you sit down to do this kind of thing. This does require you to be very present, centered, focused, and relaxed. Otherwise, your sensitivity will be low, you'll be distracted, you'll be thinking about what's for dinner or what you need to do at work or whatever. And that's just not a state of consciousness that really affords connecting with a crystal. So it's really important to come into the present moment and be in a nice calm state so that you can do this work in a way that's very receptive and sensitive. So, my tip, if this is something that you feel is going on for you, is to take, even if it's just 5 minutes a day, take that time to either do some breath work, some meditation, contemplating a beautiful flower in nature, having some time with your feet on the ground, anything that allows you to calm down your nervous system, come into the present moment, and help you to feel relaxed is really, really going to help bring about a state of consciousness that supports you in working with crystals. The fourth reason why you might not be feeling crystal energy is if you haven't taken time to cleanse the crystal. This is a lovely pink amethyst, which I've just cleared. And it's really important that we don't forget this step when we're working with crystals. They can store disharmonious energy within their lattice, and that can stop the flow of energy between a crystal healing therapist and a stone. And I always think that the process of cleansing a crystal actually also clears my own energy field and kind of gets my energetic state in order. And that way, it's much more easy to interact with the crystal and feel signals from it. So, if this is something you think might be going on for you, my tip is to just cleanse your crystal before you start to work with it. And you can use any method that you like, whether that's water, just be careful that it's not a very soft crystal that will get damaged by water, or sound, which is my favourite method. You can smoke cleanse your crystal, or you can potentially leave it in the sunlight. So whatever works for you, just make sure you're doing it regularly and see it as a way of honouring the work that you're doing before you start. And I would have thought that would really help you. The fifth reason why you might not be feeling crystal energy is that you haven't really acknowledged your crystal. Now, this is my personal feeling. Let me know if you agree or disagree with this. But I feel that crystals like to be acknowledged, okay? And I feel like if you don't really acknowledge a crystal before you start working with it, it's a little bit like getting on a bus without saying hi to the driver. It's okay, you can do that, but there's something really nice about just saying hello and recognizing that this being, if you like to see it like that, which I do, is with you for a reason and for the purposes of healing and love and transformation. And so you get to just say hello and make that connection before you move into working on a more subtle level. And the other thing connected with this is that contemplation, I think, is sort of a stepping stone to feeling the more subtle energy. So when you work with a crystal, it can be good to really explore it and just contemplate it while you are in a nice, relaxed, but present and mentally alert state. And that way, you've kind of got to know it with your senses before you start to do that more subtle and sensitive work. So, my tip, if you think this would help you, is when you pick up your crystal, you first of all kind of give it a squeeze and almost like a little nod and a hello to recognize its presence. And you can also send love and gratitude to the crystal for being with you and for doing this work. And you can also really explore it with your senses. You know, you really, really look at it really carefully and you notice its surface texture. Sometimes I even really like to put a crystal to my cheek and see how that feels as a way to get to know it. You can notice the weight, you can notice temperature, everything about it that's to do with the physical senses. You can even hold it to your ear and listen to it. Now, you might not hear any actual audible sounds, but there's something about the act of listening that I think creates a receptivity, in particular for like hearing or receiving sort of words or messages or information from a crystal. The sixth reason why you might not be feeling crystal energy is that you're trying to work with too many crystals at once. Now, trust me, I know how compelling crystals are, and I have collected lots and lots of crystals, and sometimes I've been a little bit greedy and I've got too many crystals at once, and so it was actually difficult to really connect with them on an individual level. And some of them I'm even still working through having that initial bonding period with, because I actually have more than I can really handle. So if you are new to crystals and you're loving them and you're collecting them, but you're not really focusing on one at a time, that can be quite a confusing space to be in. And it can be more difficult to pick up individual signals if you've got a lot of stuff going on around you. So if you feel like this is something that you might be doing, then my suggestion would be to pick one crystal from your collection, something that you feel drawn to at this time, and really focus on just working with that one crystal in a bit more depth for, say, a week or a couple of weeks or even a month. There's no rush with this, okay? This is something that you're probably going to be doing for some time, and so yeah, you don't need to hurry anything. All will happen in divine timing. So pick one crystal, just dedicate your attention to it, try some of the things we've already talked about, and see if that helps you really develop a deeper sensitivity and connection with its energy. The seventh thing, now this isn't something that's going to be stopping you feeling crystal energy, but it's something that might stop you from recognizing all of your progress. And it's that you're not noting down the experiences you have had with crystals. When I was studying, one of the requirements for the course was that we journaled about our crystal experiences. And At first, I would say meditate with a crystal, like maybe this nice prehnite. Oh, it looks so beautiful and glowing. I'd have a meditation with this, and when I'd come around, I wouldn't necessarily feel like there'd been that much going on. But when I started writing down my experiences, actually all these words would flow out, and I'd realize actually quite a lot went on in there. There were lots of things to pick up, lots of signals that I received, thoughts, emotions, sometimes visions, sensations. And if I hadn't actually forced myself or been required to write that down, I don't think I would have recognized all the ways in which I was really receiving and picking up a lot of energy from that crystal. So, if this isn't something that you've been doing yet, I would really encourage you to try it and see. Sit with one crystal, um, and literally write down everything that comes up for you within that period of time, and see if it helps you, see if it helps build your confidence in the capabilities that you might not have really recognized that you have, but actually are already within you. So I hope that helped you. I would absolutely love to hear your experiences. Is there anything in this video that you tried that made a difference? Is there anything that you don't agree with in this video? Is there anything that you would do differently or could share with the community to help them connect with crystal energy? I would absolutely love to hear anything and everything that you would like to share. And if you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you want to stay in touch with everything that I'm posting. And thank you so much for being here, and many crystal blessings, and I'll see you in the next video.